Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of That's a Bet podcast. It is your boy, Two T's, coming to you live from the Tap Studios. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce my esteemed, educated, former athletic. He's having a baby. Willie Baby's in the building. What's up, Willie Baby?
Just finished up the yard, cutting the yard before the rain comes and gets us. So feeling good and productive this morning on Saturday, man.
Gotcha. Hey, it's exciting, man, to be out here and see some sky without clouds, especially here in Georgia. We've been having a lot of just crazy weather, cold,
Lots of
hot.
rain. Yeah.
Yeah, rain, man, and it's actually good to have a beautiful day outside. Hopefully, it's beautiful for you guys out there too. But Will, I'm excited, man. We're gonna give you guys something a little bit different here. With That's a Bet podcast, me and Will kind of were talking about this with no sports out here, Willie J, and there's really nothing to bet on. It kind of made sense for us to kind of go back to the basics. And kind of like with football, basketball, they have training camp. And you do the plays that nobody wants to do, the drills, but that kind of sets the foundation, hitting drills and stuff like that for the season. We want to do that with you guys here on That's a Bet podcast and start our 6-episode series of Sports Betting 101 here, Willie J. We're going to go through 6 quick episodes here and just talk about some of the major pillars of sports betting that me and Willie J have kind of came up with, that if you have these as a foundation, these will definitely help you as you jump into the game. For novices, Will, and also for experts. If you've been in the game, it's always nice to go back and refresh all these. So with that being said, Willie J, I want to give everybody a quick rundown of the 6 episodes that we are going to do. The first show that we're going to knock out here today is we're going to talk about the spread. Second episode, we're going to jump into the juice. Third episode will be the money line. Fourth episode, we'll talk about parlays. Fifth episode, we'll talk about over-unders. And the 6th episode, we'll talk about bankroll. So we'll kind of roll through there. As far as those 6, Will, you would definitely agree that those are kind of the ones to have in your bag and kind of know when you're starting to bet, right?
Yeah. Those are, if you're first starting out, that is more than enough to get you started, man. It's like you got to look at it like a big hamburger. You don't want to eat the whole hamburger in one bite. You want to take off little bites, at a time. And once you start to fully indulge and get everything, then you'll feel full at the end of the side. You got plenty of different things, with after those 6 that we're talking about, but these are the main 6 that you need to get started. So.
Gotcha. All right, man. So with that being said, real quick, Willie J, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media.
Group 13 Sports, and that's Instagram and Twitter.
Yep. And you guys can follow me at Pineapple Picks 2 T's. That's on Twitter and Instagram now. I did just create an Instagram for that, so you guys can follow me on there. And make sure you guys follow the show at That's a Bet Podcast. We'll have all our links for each episode of this entire series. Now, with that being said, Willie J, let's jump right into the spread. The spread is one of arguably the most important thing you honestly need to be able to read and know in the sports betting world. And real quick, guys, just want to give you kind of a background definition, or I quote unquote the Webster version, if you want to put it in that terms, for the spread. So if you're betting football or basketball, for instance, the spread, you're going to be using that mainly as the main play. The spread can be identified here, Will, as a 2 or 1 digit number alongside the money line. For example, real quick, that's just if you have the Falcons -3.5, the favorite will have a minus sign next to it, and the underdog will have a plus sign. So that indicates that that's the spread there. Willie J, if you want to kind of give them a real life example here of what a spread is, real quick.
Well, the simplest way to break this down is, and I got to give my boy a shout out, Jaron Griffin. Got to give him a little credit on the way I look at this.
Okay.
During fantasy football, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, you get on NFL.com, ESPN.com, CBS Sports, whatever. You see a projection next to a player, the number of points that they think that he's going to score, based off, how he performs every week, right? Well, Jared, one time we were arguing about who had the highest projected players. And Jared made the comment, Well, I'm just telling you right now, the little white guys in the room are going to come up with this number for this player, blah, blah, blah. So now when I think about it, when I think about Vegas and spreads and projections and all of that, I think about, 4 or 5 little nerd white boys or guys that are really good with numbers sitting in a dark room coming up with where they think the numbers will be. So I'll give you an
Yep.
example. Perfect example of the spread. That spread is a projection or an expectation per se of where they think, if team A plays to their full potential and team B plays to their full potential, we are saying that team A is X amount of points better than team B. They're bringing numbers together, what they average, per game, scoring, defending, all of that stuff. So they're saying, look, we got the Patriots as a 7.5 point favorite, right? So we're saying, look, the Patriots should win this game. We know they're going to win the game, but we're saying they should beat the Dolphins by at least 7 points, right? So I'll give you an example. If you're looking at a game and you say, you know what, well, this game is down in Miami, it doesn't have any intangible side to it. This is more of a numbers, factual driven, logic type of equation or projection that they're coming out with. If you look as a bettor, a good bettor, you look at the game, you say, you know what? The Patriots have never really played well in Miami, over the last 10 years, whatever. It's hot down there, blah, 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 blah. I think the Dolphins, they don't have anything to lose. They're going to come out today and they're going to play well. And so I think if the Dolphins play well, I don't know if the Patriots will play as well. So I'm going to take that 7.5 points with the Dolphins because I think that they will lose by less than 7 points. So either you can be on the favorite, which would be -7, or the underdog, which would be +7, right? So simple, just the simplest way I can explain this. If I decided I want to bet on the Patriots have to win the game by more than 7 points for me to win that bet. So I'm taking the Patriots -7. The game starts in fantasy land or betting land. The Dolphins already have 7 points on the favorite because are on the Patriots because the Dolphins are +7. So at the end of the game, if the Patriots win 31-14, the Patriots in real life in the game have won by 17 points or 14 points, 31-17 or yeah, that's 14 points. Yeah, can't
Mm-hmm.
do the math right. But the Dolphins actually lost the bet and they lost in real life because they lost by 14 points, right? I took the Patriots at -7. So it's just that spread at the end of the day, I'm going to circle back around. That spread is the point buffer or the difference between the two teams. Patriots -7 means that they need to win by more than 7 points to cover the spread, and then vice versa for the Dolphins.
Got you. So, guys, Will kind of gave his angle there, and the way that I look at it myself is kind of the second way that Will kind of mentioned, and I kind of want to reiterate that real quick before we get out of here. So, the spread number indicates that the underdog, if it's a plus sign next to it, they're going to begin the game up with that amount of points. So I want to kind of stress that, Will, that part of it. So for instance, there was an example, the Detroit Lions were a 3.5 point underdog against the Green Bay Packers. So that means when the game started, you could put 3.5 points on the scoreboard for the Detroit Lions. So in essence, if you take the Lions, it's going to say Lions, they have 3.5 points, the Packers have 0. In betting terms, to make it real simple for you guys, and vice versa. If you started the game and you wanted to take the Packers -3.5, which means the minus sign, they're the favorite. That means the game is starting with the Packers. They have -3.5 on the scoreboard. If you want to look at it in those terms, I know a lot of people try to make it visual as possible, Will. So that's just one thing to think about. Now, Will, this is kind of a question that a lot of bettors I've seen ask, and kind of jump into it with the spread is, what's the point of books having the 0.5 point spread? And for me, the quick, simple answer is is basically to eliminate ties, or what they call a push at the sports book. Because if there's a push or a tie between, like, say you had a team that was -3 and the favorite won by 3, the house gets their money back and you get your money back. So it's pretty much a wash there. Anything else you kind of have on that half point system? Because I know a lot of people
Well,
ask that.
I would take it a little bit. I would take it even further from that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, this is, the books in Vegas, me, you, McDonald's down the street, the Chinese restaurant food down the street. We're all in here to make money, right? So,
Yep.
sometimes when you see that half a point, that's just basically a business move by the books because they're saying, okay, we got X amount of dollars on the public for betting for the Dolphins, and then we got X amount of dollars for the Patriots. Let's go ahead and put that half point in there so that we have a clear determined winner or loser. Every now and then, guys, you will come across spreads that don't have the half a point. And so that, like Lockett said earlier, you get your money back if it's a tie or a push. But I think it comes down to how much money is on each side. And it just, sometimes if somebody comes at the last minute and bets a bunch of money on one side, that might put it up a half a point or the spread up a half a point or even more. It just depends. It depends on what kind of action they got on both sides. And the way I look at it, I know you said, you get your money back and the books get their money back. The way I've always looked at it is you got one side of supporters betting against the other side of the supporters. So you got the New England, you got the New England backers, you got the Miami Dolphins backers. I'm not looking at the books. I'm betting against New England. I'm fading this guy over here. He took New England. I'm taking the Dolphins, right? And then the books, they're always going to make their money. We'll talk about that in the next episode, what we call the juice or the vig or the fee, whatever you want to call it, right? So I'm fading that guy across the room who decided to bet the Dolphins. I think I'm smarter than you and vice versa, right? So,
Yep.
because the books is always going to get their money. So I'm trying to get the money from this guy.
Gotcha.
So that's
Yep.
kind of the way I look at it.
Yep. So that's basically the spread and breakdown. If once you get this spread down, I think everything else it feeds into all other avenues, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to jump into this. So real quick, just to sum it up, the spread is explained with a minus sign for the favorite, a plus sign as the underdog. If you take the favorite, in essence, the game is starting and you have negative whatever the number is next to that minus sign. If you take the underdog, you are beginning your bet that particular game with those points added on your scoreboard. So you basically have those amount of points as a buffer. And that is the spread. So with that being said, Willie J, I want to, what you
One
got? What you
quick
got,
thing
Will?
too, because I'm a new father and I hang around. I've been spending a lot of time with kids lately, that kind of thing. So for all my parents out there, think times are different, right? And what I mean by that is in the educational system, kids ain't writing in cursive no more, can't hardly read, can't add, subtract. Hey, you're sitting at home right now with your kids. I can tell you right now, once my son gets a little bit older, obviously I got to watch the addiction side of it. But I'm gonna have him counting spreads. That's a good way to add and subtract. Makes you really quick and sharp with numbers. So think
Yep.
about it that way.
Yep, I do that same thing too, man. We don't even realize we do it, but we do that a whole lot. So, okay, guys. Well, look, that was the spread. I appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode of our Sports Betting 101 series, episode 1. Make sure you guys go click that button. Go on to the episode 2 here. We're gonna talk about the juice. For 2 T's, that's Willie J. We will see you guys on the next pod.